I can't believe you've made me listen to this track so many times. I'm beginning to unironically enjoy it.
It's never over, just another day of hope and tragedies, everything that comes our way. Determination of the strong, found the meaning that you search for.
At one time, I could laugh at All Hail Shadow. That day is over. That day's long gone.
Shadow, heroes rise again, obliterating everything that's not your friend. Nothing can stop you now, no ghost to bring you down. There's nothing left to lose, you win. Somewhere in chaos we
Well, of course I like the Big the Cat song. That song is just a treasure. You don't have to convince someone to like that song.
White is black and black is white. Right is wrong, wrong is right. Nothing ever feels this cold inside your heart. Determination of the strong, found the meaning that you searched for so long. All hail shadow, heroes rise again, obliterating everything that's not your friend. Nothing can stop you now, no ghost to bring you down. There's nothing left to lose, you win.
Yeah, for Hoodrup. Thank you for becoming now subscriber. Brand new 61384. Thank you for subscribing for 9 months. That is 3/4 of a year. That is true. Jasper Bat, what's the E emote? It's a very special letter from Michigan. Report from hell.
Rise again,
Galleys, thank you for subscribing for 32 months.
not your friend.
That is almost 33, you're correct.
Nothing can stop you now, no ghost to bring you down. There's nothing left to lose, you win.
Yes, Harriet. Thank you for subscribing for 33 months. That is indeed 1 month more than 32. Who's cooler between Venom and Carnage? I mean, do you allow for alternate versions like Flash Thompson's Agent Venom? There's a few people who have been Venom. Flash Thompson was Venom. Yes, that's correct. His Venom was pretty different than Eddie Brock Venom. He was Agent Venom. He used guns. Because, I mean, you know, you could take the symbiote and just put it on anyone, and they become like a different version of Venom. How many people have been Carnage? I'm not entirely sure if there were any other Carnages. There's like been a few Venoms. I can't remember other Carnages. Isn't it just the one serial killer? Yeah, Cletus Cassidy. It might be only... I'm not sure if anyone else has worn the Carnage symbiote. In Dreamcast Spider-Man, Doc Ock got carnaged. I have not seen that. I've not seen that game. But if Venom joined with a xenomorph, oh, Venom can join with anything. It doesn't have to be human. Venom can the symbiote can join with like any other living thing. I remember in a Guardians of the Galaxy comic, they threw a symbiote at Ego, the living planet, which was chasing them, and the symbiote splashed all over it and tried to bond with Ego, and then distracted Ego for a bit as he had to destroy the symbiote. Lady Carnage? I mean, there can be a Lady Carnage if it bonds with a lady. There has been She-Venom. But again, I'm not sure if the Carnage symbiote has bonded with anyone else. Sheenum. Yeah, Spider-Man did have the black suit for a bit before they decided to go all in on it being an alien. Yes, the symbiotes don't have genders. The gender of the combined being is determined by the host. I did not read the comic in which the symbiote got bored of a gangster and ditched him. I did see that particular panel. The symbiote can be choosy about, who it's bonding with. Yes, I did read the original Secret Wars in which Peter gets the black costume. Yes, he presses the button on the alien machine because he sees Captain America fix his shield with an alien machine. So Peter decides he's gonna fix his torn up suit with the machine, but he presses the wrong machine. And then like a black ball of liquid comes out of it and bonds with him. He's like, okay, I guess I have a new costume now. The Venom comic right now is weird. He's like a god. Yes, they decided that introducing a character named Null, the god of symbiotes. That the spider symbol on front of Venom. It's not actually a spider, but rather it resembles Null's symbol, which is not a spider. It's like one of those things where that I'm sure someone thought was very clever. Only know Venom from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon where he came from a crashed spaceship. Yes, because Venom was introduced in Secret Wars, that means, and it would be difficult to actually adapt that to like movies or cartoons. So anytime they introduce Venom in like a movie or a cartoon or what have you, they always have to modify the intro because of how weird his comics intro was. Venom is a god sword. Well, Null's sword is the all black, which is like a symbiote sword, and Null's the god of symbiotes. Is Venom? I don't know if Venom is the sword. I mean, I haven't been keeping up that much. I don't know if Venom has become a sword. Venom could become a sword. Nothing's stopping him. Where's the music? Look, we're talking about serious subjects like Venom. Is Jubilee still a vampire? I don't think Jubilee is still a vampire. They decided to remutant people, remutantize. So I think Jubilee has her powers. I think. Can Venom feel sad? Sure. Venom deals with his emotions poorly, though. Like, it's the entire reason why he spent so long trying to kill Peter Parker. Did they get Shadow of Destiny doing? Going to be something on Wednesday. Well, I mean, we're going to be playing Forgotten City. There's more endings, right? People keep saying there's other endings, and that I gotta keep playing to get to the good part. So I guess we'll be getting to the good part. You gotta know the full story. Like, this game I don't know, like the mod won an award for writing or something, so how can it not be good? I like watched a couple of video reviews about it, and like they made sure to mention that the Skyrim mod won some sort of writing award. People seem to really like it. So, I mean, obviously, if I just keep going, I'll get to the part that people must really like. Diane, the game was originally a Skyrim mod, and then they adapted it into a standalone game. So, in the Skyrim mod, it wasn't, ancient Rome. It wasn't that. It was rather the Dwemer, the dwarves in Elder Scrolls that vanished mysteriously. It was their society. But then they decided, hey, we got something good here. Let's make this into its own standalone game. You can't use the Dwemer and like Elder Scrolls lore if you're going to make your standalone game. So they decided to go with Roman history. Yes, Dwemer tried to become gods. They tampered with the heart of Lorkhan. I remember that right from Morrowind, and that was a long time ago. Bandages, thank you for the raid. I do hope you enjoy some saccering warsing. I am a god. How can you kill a god? I did laugh when I first got to him and heard what his voice sound. It's not what I thought the villain's voice would sound like. Diane, I do not crochet or knit. Like, I haven't done any of that since public school, which sometimes they had us do that. Come, dear Nerevar, and gaze upon the heart. What did I think Ancient Crazy Man and Loincloth and Gold Mask would sound like? That's another thing. Didn't really have a good vision in my mind on what he would look like. So he's like a tall blue man with a gold mask and wearing a loincloth. Not really. I don't know what I imagined he was going to look like. Probably wasn't that. Should probably make a tweet. Have I seen the dance mix video? I have seen that, yes. I mean, to be fair, Take Author has a good reason to be confident because, like, he doesn't know that you figured out how to destroy the heart. He was like, Oh, Nerevar! What arrogance to think you could stand before God. It's like, okay, well, if if you didn't figure out what you were going to do with that heart, he'd be right. He'd be right about that. Are we gaming or is it music time? Sometimes silence can be nice. Oh, wait, he kicks you out if you don't have the right weapons? That's funny. The Heart of Lorkhan in Morrowind is not the real one? I was not aware of such lore. So you're telling me you went to the heart and you didn't even have a way to destroy it? Look, these details, they bother me. Dea Lagardo, thank you for subscribing for 3 months. Did I have a good Turkey Day dinner? Yes, the dinner was good. It was enjoyable turkey. Apparently, Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 2, Fisto says I would like to fist him. I mean, Fisto is the best character. The best He-Man character. Of this, I think there can be no argument. He fists everyone. They eat the cranberry on its own. No, cranberry, you eat it with the turkey. You don't you eat it. It's a combination. Kit Fisto was a pretty good Star Wars man. He was done dirty by Palpatine. He died very quickly. Everyone loves Lobot. Who doesn't love Lobot? I do remember when Palpatine returned somehow. We were all so psyched when we discovered that he had returned. How? Well, you'll have to just look it up at some other time. Who doesn't remember Gonk Droid? Gonk Droid is very memorable. He says Gonk. He says it a few times. Amaru, thank you for subscribing for 17 months. Yes, Palpatine was defeated by 2 lightsabers, because even though he was all of the Sith, Rey was all of the Jedi. It was a very satisfying ending. Was it satisfying? Look, if it wasn't satisfying, they wouldn't have ended the Skywalker saga like that. You know, the Skywalker saga. The term that they had never used before, they started advertising episode 9. But then, you know, at that point, then we realized that the whole 9 episode movie series that started in the late 70s, that was actually unfinished all this time. And now finally we were going to get the ending. You know, I always thought I felt unsatisfied because I knew Return of the Jedi wasn't the ending, and I was saying, when are we going to get that ending? And then finally, they answered my prayers and gave me the ending. Do people still believe that Lucas had a 9-part saga written to tell back in the 70s? I don't know if anyone still believes that. It's like, you know, some people want to believe that because they like to believe that a great storyteller will have like this fully formed story and not just make it up as they go along. So some people might want to think that. I don't think generally people think that, though. Oh, Lucas's original New Hope script is magical. It's such a thing. It's such a thing, and you read, holy shit, this was what the first movie was going to be. What was his name for stuff? The Star Wars, The Adventure of the Star Killer. Was that the name of the script? And then, of course, the Star Killer name was used again in The Force Unleashed, and then used again in Force Awakens. It's a very good name, you understand. Force Unleashed 2, yes. Remember when Force Unleashed came out, and then they were saying, hey, this game is canon. It's just as canon as the movies. And I guess that didn't last long. Is Matrix Resurrections going to keep Matrix Online canon? I don't know if anyone knows the answer for that. I mean, it's known that Morpheus is dead, so I don't know if his death in Matrix Online is the canon death, or if it's something else. Pod racing games in VR. Yeah, if they want to make Star Wars Pod Racer Episode 1 Racer VR version, I would be, you know, fine with playing that. You know, they did make a Star Wars VR game. It's called Vader Immortal. I played it. It's okay. It's like made more to be sort of like, it's very short. It's like you're supposed to be like in a movie. And they try to do lightsaber combat, and I guess they do it as best as they can, but like it's very limited. Star Wars Squadrons is VR support. Yeah, I did try that. It seems very good. I don't know, I just wasn't having fun with it, but I don't know, it seems like a very good like X-Wing and TIE Fighter simulator. The highest level of canon in old Star Wars was G canon, yes. $3,000 Disney World Land Cruise. I have not heard of it. What level of canon was Luke? Well, that was a novel. Like I was in one of the novels that started off the EU, so that was not G canon. That was below G canon. Like the movies could contradict those books if they wanted to. Luke is a clone of Luke. You can tell because there's two U's instead of one. That's how you can tell if someone's a clone, at least according to that one particular book series. I have not read Darths and Droids. How do I know? I don't know anything. What do you mean I know all these things? I don't know a single thing. They didn't call him equal. No, they didn't. They didn't use backwards names. Rather, they like added an additional vowel to a clone name. I don't know why, but that's how it worked. Does that explain Sheev Palpatine? No, no. The additional vowels from like the old novel, so it's not canon anymore. Sheev, that's just his name. That's just his first name. It's not a clone's name. That's just the original name. Good old Sheev. His clone name would be Sheev. Yes, just keep adding vowels to it. Just keep adding vowels. Remember in Rise of Skywalker when, for a few seconds, Rey sees a vision of Dark Rey, and it's just a few seconds, and you know the only reason they had that was to put her in the commercial? Like, oh, look at that, that's Dark Rey, she's got like a double-sided red lightsaber. As like, they get to the movie, and it's like, oh, that's like the entirety of her appearance in the movie. That was just a few seconds long. You just did that for the commercial, didn't you? She had pointy teeth. Why wouldn't I want to join the dark side? It, like, makes my eyes turn yellow and my teeth pointy and I become like some kind of murder monster? Sign me up! Who doesn't want to do that? It's so tempting. That was kind of the problem I had with, like, the whole idea of join me on the dark side. And it's like, the dark side's gonna have to make a much stronger pitch than what I've been seeing so far. Dark Side is not selling itself too much, I think. And then you see Sheev, and he's like just like decrepit techno zombie. It's like I don't think this is all that appealing. It's like you become like some sort of deathless zombie. If you're on the good side of the Force, you do die, but you become a cool glowy blue ghost. I'm not sure if those ghosts can do that other thing, but glowy blue ghost, and that's probably cooler than being a techno zombie. And then the Palpatine revealed that there's like a wrinkle when it comes to killing him. He's like, no, you can't kill me. If you kill me, then I take over your body. And like, I'm all the Sith. So like, all the Sith take over your body. That's why you, Rey, my granddaughter, have to kill me. And like, Rey's like, I cannot do that because then you will take me over. It's like, oh no, what's gonna happen? What a chess master Palpatine is. What a mastermind. I can't believe such a maneuver. And then Rey outsmarts him because she holds up her lightsabers to reflect the lightning, killing Palpatine. It does not count as her killing Palpatine. It counts as him killing himself. So it's like a loophole. She outmaneuvered him and avoided the possession. Isn't he still free to possess her? No, because he dies, and that's like his last body. He doesn't have any other bodies, I guess. So that's it for him. And because Rey, it doesn't count as Rey killing him, he doesn't get to possess her body. That's how it works. Rise of Skywalker was the last movie I saw in theaters, saying retry. Yes, that was almost the case for me, but then after that, I saw Cats. So that was the last one I had seen before the pandemic. Which is better than Rise of Skywalker. Let's be clear. It's a better movie than Rise of Skywalker. Dunk. Well, Dunk is not pre-pandemic. You know, Dunk is current. Isn't it all bottom of the barrel? Yes, but the bottom of the barrel has levels to it. I'm gonna swing this lightsaber in front of me and it kills you, it's not my fault. Exactly. Why didn't she think of doing that? Look, Patty V's. It turns out Rey's parents actually loved her very much. Did I see pre or post patch Cats? I don't know if you could tell the difference. I don't know how you would know. Like, unless you were really looking. They never had buttholes. The patch, like, covered up things like some of their human hands were exposed. Can we get a Cats 2 with Garfield? That is brilliant. Starring that guy who is gonna... He's in everything. You know that guy. Chris. Danny DeVito, that's right. Yes, Kylo and Rey reviving each other. It was so they could kiss! Remember, people really wanted them to kiss? Like, in the build-up to that movie, people really wanted them to kiss. Kiss, kiss, oh, kiss. Look, Kylo tortured Rey in the first movie and killed, like, Han Solo, who was, like, one of the first kind people that she had met. And then in the second movie, he killed, like, a whole bunch of her friends in the Resistance. And, then Luke, you know, who she had met, had to sacrifice his life to hold off Kylo. So obviously in the third movie, the two of them are gonna do it. I mean, that's just... I don't understand why they didn't. I can redeem this fascist. Yeah, Rey saw him shirtless once. Yeah, he did more than a Hitler of killing. The first scene that we see in Kylo Ren is he has his soldiers massacre a village. I can redeem him. I can understand Adam Driver being hot. I'm not, like, arguing about that. I'm saying that it was weird how much everyone was like, oh yeah, they gotta kiss. They gotta kiss. It's like, I don't... It's like, maybe if you hated Rey, maybe, like, that's the ending you would have wanted for her. still good inside. They're still good. They're still good. It's 8:22. If what you're saying is that we haven't talked about Star Wars enough, I mean, I guess that's true. Yes, they killed Chewbacca, and then a few minutes later they didn't. I was relieved. I was crying at the idea that Chewbacca was dead, and then I was like, "Phew! I'm glad he's not dead." And they gave him his medal. I was like, man, when I was a little child, I was wondering why didn't he get his medal? He went roar in the ceremony, and they didn't give him a medal. And then finally, all these years later, they gave him a medal. Octatasty, thank you for subscribing for 13 months. Yeah, they brainwiped C-3PO'd and reversed it immediately. ESA 89, thank you for subscribing for 33 months. Do you think he ate the medal? Like maybe he found it was actually chocolate inside. See, Han and Luke never thought to try it. You know, it's a fun thing about Rise of Skywalker. It's never happened before, but after that movie, I just didn't care about Star Wars anymore. That's like never actually happened with me. I was like, yeah, I don't actually want to watch anything regarding Star Wars anymore. Like, I usually don't. That usually doesn't happen. Like, when the Hobbit movies came out, those weren't great, but I still think Lord of the Rings is great. Or when the Matrix trilogy was coming out, I was like, Reloaded isn't so good, and Revolutions is worse, but the first one is still great. But with Star Wars, it's like, oh man, I have really no desire to watch Star Wars again. Didn't see a Star Wars movie until your late 20s. Friends made you see the original trilogy. That is fairly unusual, yes. Ezra DD has not watched any Star Wars movies and will murder you if you try. If you insist, do not insist that Ezra DD watch Star Wars. You will regret it. That stand for Star Wars? It probably doesn't. It wasn't intended to anyway. They put out the version without the dumb CGI. They will never put out the version without the dumb CGI. When Disney bought it, it was thought that maybe they would, and then they didn't. Did Lucas destroy all the original prints? I don't know. I don't know if he would actually do that. It's like he didn't want to release them again, but would he actually destroy them? I don't know. Yeah, Lucas bought most of the remaining prints. Yeah, he didn't want people to see the original version anymore. Disney merchandising is trying to make Life Day a thing this year. That's surprising that they would acknowledge that. There is Life Day merch. It's already sold out. Wow. Does Life Day come with the Wookiee porn chair? Hey, we have VR headsets now. I was like, you can. Like, the future is here. Well, it's not the future. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That technology is here if you want it. The Silent Hill 16er skateboard. It's what I. There's nothing that says Silent Hill more than a skateboard with a nurse on it. The Wookiee porn chair? Yeah, it's in the Star Wars Holiday Special. One of Chewbacca's relatives watches VR porn. Yeah, it might have been his dad. His father, Lumpy. Yes. Chewbacca's father, Lumpy. What's Life Day? Well, they made a Star Wars Christmas special, but they couldn't say Christmas because why would Christmas exist in a galaxy far, far away? So it was Life Day. Is the Quest 2 the best VR headset on the market right now? Yes, and it's not even close. Maybe that might change when Sony releases PSVR 2, but right now, no one else is actually trying regarding the VR space. So I really could not recommend anything else aside from the Quest 2 because of that. What about the Index? The Index is outdated now. Valve never lowered the price on it. But like the tech is outdated at this point. That's the thing. Valve was making a push for VR, but they're not like actually dropping the price on their headset. It's not worth $1,000. The Quest 2 was released not long after the Quest 1. Yeah, Oculus they're doing it fast. They're not doing console generations. It's more like mobile phone generations. So yeah, it's hardware coming out fast. Would I ever buy custom lenses so I don't need to wear glasses? The glasses haven't been a problem. It's like there's enough space in the headset for my glasses. Like I don't even notice it. Uncle Owen killed Darth Maul in the old canon? I don't think I know about that. Bandages has that wide IPD, yes. That can be a problem. The Quest 2, like you can like pull like it has you can pull the lenses apart or close together, but they have like places that they snap into. So if you have an unusual IPD, it might not match up quite to its settings, which is a problem with it. Darth Maul is dead. In the new canon, he is killed by Obi-Wan on Tatooine. So he's dead up at that point. He's dead after. Yes, he is dead after getting robot legs. Should have been a Kyle Katarn movie. Now, there was a time when Kyle Katarn was pretty hot, and then pretty hot as a character. They didn't do anything with him though. I don't know if Kyle Katarn is still hot. I think the iron has cooled on Kyle Katarn. When do we get a Porkins movie? Oh man, if the idea of making Star Wars like a Marvel style franchise where there would be multiple movies a year, if that had taken off, they would have to milk everything they could. And we would be getting Porkins. We'd be getting some Porkins action. They were gonna milk Porkins. Are they making any Star Wars movies anymore? They kind of stopped for right now. They kind of stopped because, Rise of Skywalker didn't go over so well. And then Solo before it didn't go over so well. Maybe we need to slow it down and figure out what we're going to do with it. And they haven't really said what they're doing for movies now. Chris Menace, thank you for subscribing for 33 months. And yes, Chris Menace gets it. We are going to get the Porkins origin story. Porkins has a massive Wikipedia entry. Of course he does. He's a named character in a movie. Yes, Mandalorian did great, which means that maybe they're thinking maybe doing Disney Plus shows might be the better route instead of movies. Have I heard the... Diane the Punk asks, speaking of fan wikis, have you heard the bad news about Monster Girls wiki? And I have to say, no. I have not heard the bad news about the Monster Girls wiki. What is happening with the Monster Girls? I am upset to hear that the Monster Girls are having problems. It's getting shut down because of too much not safe for work content. Why would there be not safe for work content posted on the Monster Girls wiki? What would you even post? Yes, press F to pay your respects to Monster Girls. Yes, haven't the Monster Girls been through enough? It's a hard life living as a monster girl. When they deleted the foreskin, I didn't speak up. They came for the monster girls. Or yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Who will speak for the monster girls now? All I can say is that I'm looking forward to the next Star Wars movie, The Adventures of Porkins and the Monster Girls, taking things in a bold new direction. Does Lop the Bunny Jedi count as a monster girl? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to go to my phone and look up Lop the Bunny Jedi. Getting a shot of her face. I mean, right now I'm saying probably a monster girl. Lop was a force-sensitive, leppy female resident of the planet Tau during the Imperial era. An orphan who was not originally from Tau, Lop was an enslaved laborer for the Galactic Empire, which had occupied the planet. After escaping the Empire, Lop was adopted by Boss Yasaburo of the powerful Yasaburo clan at the assistance of his daughter, Ocho. Years after Lop's adoption into the Yasaburo clan, Yasaburo and Ocho took opposite sides of a rebellion against the Empire. With her father supporting the insurgency and her sister opposed, Lop found herself trying to mediate between her family members. Ultimately, Ocho joined the Empire, and Yasaburo trained Lop to use their family's lightsaber to confront Ocho. Biography. Early life. Lop was a leppy female born on a different planet from Tau. At some point in her early life, she was brought to Tau to work as a slave for the Galactic Empire. Lop eventually lost her parents, leaving her as an orphan. At some point, Lop gained a droid companion. During the Imperial era, Lop and TD4 fled to escape from slavery. She met a human father, Yasaburo, and his young daughter, Ocho, at a market. Yasaburo had a scar that had rendered one of his eyes blind. The humans saw the young Leppy attempting to steal fruit and asked about Lop's origins and parents. After hearing Lop's stomach rumble from hunger, Ocho invited Lop to join their family, insisting that she could tell by looking at the Leppy that Lop was a good kid. Ocho enthusiastically took Lop in hand to play on the beach, guilting her father into adopting Lop. Yasaburo promised to clean Lop up and get her well fed. TD4 cut off Lop's shock collar, then recorded a hologram of the trio smiling on the beach. Lop and Ocho came to regard each other as sisters. Yasaburo welcomed Lop as his daughter, and she referred to him as his father. 7 years after joining the Yasaburo clan, an Imperial base on Tau was attacked. An explosion rocked the local town, and Lop woke up among smoke and debris from the destruction. Coming to, the Leppy donned her side glasses to view the wreckage in the infrared spectrum, before hearing Ocho confront Yasaburo about what had happened. Ocho asked her father what he had done, crying out that the town had been destroyed. After hearing Ocho's words, Lop expressed disbelief aloud that the explosion was her father's doing. She rushed over to a scene where Yasaburo and Ocho were fighting, surrounded by a crowd of affiliates of their clan. Ocho expressed indignation that her father attacked the Imperial base, while Yasaburo justified his support for the insurgency against the Empire on the grounds of the Empire polluting and pillaging their planet. Yasaburo clan members attempted to separate the quarreling father and daughter, saying that they needed to flee before Imperial troops arrived. Upon seeing Lop approach, one clan member implored the Lepi to intervene. Lop begged her family members to stop, saying there was no reason for them to fight each other. Yasuburo silenced Lop, saying this was a problem for the head of the family. Ocho extorted her father, exhorted, very different thing, claiming a right as the next head of family to assert her opinion. Ocho denounced her father's anti-imperial views as a stubborn opposition to development and wrong. The father and daughter continued to argue as Lop stood on. Imperial stormtroopers approached on speeder bikes, causing the crowd to flee. Wow, this keeps on going, doesn't it? The next section is Sisters and the Empire. After that is Inheritance. After that is Sister Against Sister. After that... Okay, then we get to the end of her bio. Right, so it ends with a fight between Lop and Ocho. Right, so it looks like Lop wins the fight. She uses the Force to summon one of her father's dagger and destroys Ocho's electric staff before slashing at her sister, scarring Ocho's chest and knocking her off the edge of the base. Ocho survived the blow and landed on an Imperial ship about to leave Tau. The sisters gave each other one last stare before the ship fled. Afterwards, Lop picked up TD4's head, which again projected the family hologram. As she watched the recording, she repeated the younger Ocho's hopes that one day they would be a proper family. Okay, so I guess that's the end of their story. Let's see. Personality and traits. Lop was highly empathetic. When Ocho and Yasuburo found themselves on opposite sides of the rebellion on Tau, affiliates of Yasuburo clan called on her to mediate between her adopted sister and father. Lop asked Ocho to consider Yasuburo's feelings about the Empire and their homeworld, hoping to end the tensions within their family. Despite being born on another planet, Lop came to feel at home on Tau. Let's see. Powers and abilities. Let's see. Nimble and agile. She's force sensitive. Used telekinesis. Skilled with lightsaber. Lop was given, let's see, equipment. Lop was given the Yasuburo clan lightsaber by her father, Yasuburo. She also wielded an umbrella that she could use to glide a short distance. That's fun. Behind the scenes, like she appeared in Lop and Ocho, a short film in the Star Wars Visions series, written by Sayawaka and directed by Yuki Garajo. Visions, that's new, isn't it? Yeah, released on Disney Plus September 22nd, 2021. Okay, Lop is a current character. This is not Legacy. This is a new character. In the behind-the-scenes of Star Wars Visions, the Lop and Ocho filmmakers revealed that they are hoping the audiences will see Lop go after Ocho and become sisters again. This was a lot of information. I believe the initial question is, would Lop be considered a monster girl? So I'm looking at a picture of Lop. I guess it's like, honestly, she's mostly human, except her head is like a rabbit head. And so like she has... Does that count as monster girl? If, like, I don't know. Like, it seems like she's mostly human except for the rabbit head, and she has like a puff tail. And her feet, let's see, can I see? Okay, yeah, her feet are not, they don't look like human feet. Scrolling down these images, I'm getting into the fan art. Oh, yeah, she's getting real thick now. That's not surprising. As I go down these images, I also see a picture of a real bunny with a lightsaber photoshopped into its paw, which is funny. That's cute. I guess this rabbit race existed before Lop. It seems like that's actually not a new thing. The Leppy race has their own entry in the Wikipedia. It's a pretty lengthy entry, too. It starts off with the quote, "I ain't no rodent. I'm more what you call a basic lepus carnivorous, a meat-eating, rocket-riding rabbit to you, Junior." The quote says, this is from Jackson, who is rebuking Warto. How dare Warto call Jackson a rodent? Looking at the artwork for Jackson, this looks like an old Marvel comic, so I'm sure this has to be quite an old concept. Also seeing a picture of a horrifying looking rabbit man in manacles, enslaved. I'm sure you would like to know that Lepus carnivorous sexually matured around age 10, when they were considered young adults. Females gave birth in prodigious numbers. Mothers often had up to 3 dozen offspring in their lifespan. Leppy reached old age around 60 to 74, after which they were considered venerable. I'm sure everyone feels educated about the sexual maturity about the Leppy race. Apparently, Jackson's mother had 80 children. Who gave us this lore? It's in the Wikipedia. I don't know who entered it. There's a quote in this entry. "Curse you, Boba Fett! Damn you for tracking me to my warren and family and dragging me to Hutt justice," says Grubat Flitch. Flitch, I guess, is a Leppy. Okay, so Grubat Flitch was a less upright Leppy citizen. He embezzled credits from the pod racing operation of Jabba the Hutt. He is subsequently tracked down to his home warren by the bounty hunter Boba Fett, who handed him over to the crime lord. Jabba had him thrown in the Sarlacc pit as retribution. Flitch was notable for possessing a long tail. And that's the end of Flitch. Wow. The Leppy first appeared in Star Wars 1977, issue 8, published in February 1978, featuring Jackson as one as the Aduba 8. Man, this is a really old race in Star Wars. This is like one of the first expanded things they came up with, the rabbit race. This was the first Marvel Comics story arc after the adaptation of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. The species was created by writer Roy Thomas in homage to Bugs Bunny, who often addressed strangers with the generic nickname Jackson in his 1940s cartoons. He also bore a striking resemblance to 2 other characters, the cartoon character Bucky O'Hare, who debuted shortly after the Marvel run, and Jazz Jackrabbit, a platform computer game character. Wow, I'm amazed that the concept of the Leppy race has been around for so long. But wait, what's this? After his appearance in the Marvel story arc, Jackson was largely ignored in later expanded universe publications. That's why I haven't heard of him. He was brought out of limbo in the Star Wars Gamer article, The Star Hoppers of Aduba 3 by Pablo Hidalgo, with Corey J. Herndon and Michael McKellian, published March 1st, 2001. The article gave a bio for Jackson as well as providing information on the species in general. Hmm. Apparently, a common Leppy name is Trix, which is a deliberate reference to the cereal Trix, whose mascot is a rabbit. There, there was a Leppy character named Max, who was an unlockable cameo in Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. I don't remember an unlockable rabbit man in that game. I played that game. I do not remember that. Okay. Appearances of the Leppy. They were in Knights of the Old Republic 2, as well as Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars the only public, but Old Republic, but mentioned only. Apparently they are in game in Knights of the Old Republic 2, however. Non-canon appearances. So one of the non-canon appearances is something called Darth Vader and Friends. What is Darth Vader and Friends? Darth Vader and Friends. This is not old. This was released in 2015. I kind of figured this would be much older than that with a name like that. Series, the chronology series Darth Vader and Son. It's preceded by Goodnight Darth Vader, followed by a Vader family Sithmas. Darth Vader and Friends is the fourth book in Jeffrey Brown's Darth Vader and Son series. It was released on April 28, 2015. The title takes a humorous look at friendships within the Star Wars franchise. The move away from the focus of parenting made the book a struggle for author/artist Jeffrey Brown to complete, but he described himself as happy with how it turned out. What is this about? Let's see. It offers an intimate look at the friendships between best pals in the Star Wars universe, from Darth Vader and the Emperor to Leia and her Ewok pals, Han and Chewie, C-3PO and R2-D2, the bounty hunters, and other favorite characters, jealousy, birthday parties, lightsaber battles, sharing, intergalactic rebellion, and all of it. And all comes into play as Brown's charming illustrations and humor irresistibly combine the adventures of our friends in a galaxy far, far away with everyday events closer to home. The cover does look like it's a children's book, yes. It's amazing what aspects of Star Wars exist that you were just completely unaware of. It appears that the hardcover of Darth Vader and Friends goes for $10.17 on Amazon. At least currently it does. Apparently, ice cream exists in the Star Wars universe. Types of ice cream in Star Wars: Beebleberry ice cream, Corellian fried ice cream, Denta bean ice cream, the Nuvian sundae, the Hergic algae ice cream, Hood family Vespinian Best ice cream, the Tabana Split, the Tramiston Chocolate ice cream. This ice cream makes an appearance in Star Wars Jar Jar's Journey adventure book. I guess I gotta know about that. Star Wars Jar Jar's Journey adventure book. Discover worlds of fun and learning. Came out November 15th, 1999. Oh, this isn't a book. This is software. This is for the Macintosh and the PC. It's a game released by Lucas Learning in 1999, intended for children ages 4 and up. Features Jar Jar Binks, other characters from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It's an interactive tale with 14 animated pages. Jar Jar's Journey is a CD-ROM designed to immerse children ages 4 and up in the exciting story of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. In this adventure book, children will read along with Jar Jar, Queen Amidala, Anakin Skywalker, and Qui-Gon Jinn as they follow Jar Jar on his exciting adventure from the Naboo Swamp to Tatooine. No screenshots of the game. Don't know what this actually would look like. Oh man, I clicked on the link for Jar Jar Binks, and that thing on the side of the screen that like scrolls up and down, it is so small. It has become so tiny now that I'm on this page. Got to a part in the Jar Jar bio called Negotiations on Rhodia, and then the text below it, in all caps, says, Padme Amidala and C-3PO believing Jar Jar to be dead. Apparently, Jar Jar was thought to be dead for a time. Okay, he fell down like a grate. Doesn't get very specific, but C-3PO presumed that he was dead because he fell. Doesn't sound like C-3PO tried very hard to confirm that death. Man, I didn't realize just how much extended material Jar Jar must have been in. There is so much about him and his doings during the Clone Wars. After the death of his friend and colleague Padme Amidala, he was one of the chief mourners at her funeral on Naboo along with Boss Nass, and succeeded her senatorial position representing the Chamal sector in the Imperial Senate beginning in 19 BBY. Why would he become the permanent senator, considering, the thing he did? The thing where he gave Palpatine the powers, the emergency powers. Why would they say he should be the permanent senator? Seems like following that event, there's not much information on him. Because there's like a ton of information prior to Padme's death. Like, ton of Clone Wars stuff involving Jar Jar. But like once you get after that, there's not that much. Now this is what I'm looking for. Jar Jar Binks' fate. The Liberation of Coruscant mission of the Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds Clone Campaigns game features a sprite identified as Jar Jar among the skyscrapers of Coruscant, seen only if the player decides to explore the whole game map with an air unit or by using cheat codes. This is a superficially canonical indication that Binks was alive and well, and living on Coruscant during the New Republic era. It may only be an Easter egg like many featured in the game, and thus dubiously canonical. For example, Clone Campaigns features sprites of C-3PO and R2-D2 appear near a crashed escape pod on Tatooine during a Clone Wars era mission. In the Naboo celebration scene inserted into the end of the 2004 version of Return of the Jedi, several Gungans can be seen taking part in the celebrations. One Gungan can be heard shouting, "We sa free." Some fans thought that this was Ahmed best as Binks, but the voice actually belongs to Skywalker sound editor Matthew Wood. Wood says he inserted the unscripted line as a joke, and Lucas liked it enough to leave it in the final cut. Oh, now here we go. Speculations of antagonism. Now here's the good stuff. In late October 2015, a Reddit user by the name of Lumpawaroo published a theory speculating that Binks was originally written as a major antagonist of the series, as Darth Jar Jar, and a prominent collaborator with Palpatine, before being redacted from the villain's role due to the character's initial and ongoing negative reception. The post quickly became viral and received significant media coverage internationally by independent bloggers and major news outlets like The Guardian, The Washington Post, and The New York Times that included analysis of his actions in The Phantom Menace. Ahmed Best, who portrayed Jar Jar Binks in motion capture and voice, tweeted his thoughts on how it feels good when the truth comes out shortly after the theory gained widespread popularity. Yes, that is true. There is of course the theory that Jar Jar was originally meant to be like a dark side Yoda. How Yoda, when we first meet him in Empire Strikes Back, is putting on like a clownish routine to for Luke, so Luke doesn't take him seriously. Like, the theory was that Jar Jar was a dark side thing that was doing the same kind of act, and that would be revealed later on. Was that actually going to happen? Who can say? Who can say? I think they should have done that. I think they should have. George should have stuck to his guns. It would have flipped that entire trilogy on its head. Non-canon appearances. Tell me about the non-canon appearances. He was elected to the position of a senator on a no new taxes platform. Wow, I didn't know Jar Jar was a Republican. During the Clone Wars, Binks was re-elected with wide popular approval, despite the fact that his opponent, another Gungan, brought up his record of clumsiness, political errors, and service in war. His age tried to convince him to run for president, and he may have been contacted by Darth Sidious. When contacted by Darth Sidious, he somehow managed to convince Sidious to work for him. During his time in the Imperial Senate, Senator Jar Jar Binks' commemorative drinking cups with flexible straws and talking action were produced and were even available on worlds as distant as Tatooine. So I don't know what this actually is from, that this is a non-canon appearance in something. I don't know what it's quoting. Binks can be seen in the Officers Club, in the planet Coruscant, in the video game Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures. He has his name and the words Gungan Style above him. If you click on him, he does the dance for the song Gangnam Style by Psy. I can't believe this. My immersion has been ruined. Why would an Earth dance? Why would an Earth dance be seen in a galaxy far, far away? It takes me out of the story. How dare they? In LEGO Star Wars, The Yoda Chronicles, Binks has 3 kids, JJ, Gigi, and Jojo. Why were none of them in the sequel trilogy? Who can say? I can't even count how many sources there are for this article. Oh, fun fact, Star Wars Episode 1 Insider's Guide states that Jar Jar Binks is 20 during the events of Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. I did not know Jar Jar's age in that movie, but he is a 20-year-old man. Apparently, there is another character of the Binks family who has been written about named George R. Binks, an Atolla Gungan whaler who operated and resided on Naboo. He was the owner of Binks and Son Whaling Company, continuing the profession that had been practiced by his ancestors for hundreds of years. He was, through an unhappy marriage, the father of Jar Jar Binks, who would go on to serve as the Chamal sector's representative as the Galactic Senate. Okay, so Jar Jar Binks is an unhappy Gungan. Wow. On a whaling voyage with his wife and son, George R. Binks encountered an aggressive whale. Thanks to numerous poor navigation choices by Jar Jar, the whale crashed into the ship, causing it to sink. After this incident, the Binks family found themselves shipwrecked on a desolate island for over a month. During this time, prompted by his annoyance at his son's constant clumsy behavior, Binks unsuccessfully attempted to commit suicide. His father attempted to kill himself just so he wouldn't have to live with Jar Jar anymore. Like, let's get some details about that. Let's see. Binks and his family were stranded on this island, which he christened Binks's Woe. He grew increasingly annoyed by his son's antics, so that when Jar Jar offered to swim for help, a suicidal task due to the treacherous seas as well as the distance involved, Binks encouraged the boy. However, this attempt at getting Jar Jar killed was cut short when his wife intervened. Overcome with feelings, he drew a gun and turned it on himself. His wife tried to encourage him not to, but he only ended up encouraging him into pulling the trigger by telling him to think of their son. The shot merely grazed his skull, knocking him unconscious. When he awoke a short while later, he lowered his head in sadness. Wow. George R. Binks took great pride in his profession as well as in his family. So concerned was he with securing a male heir to the Binks name that he left the woman he loved because she was infertile. Wow, I would not have guessed that Jar Jar's dad had such a life. When he finally received the son Jar Jar, he worked hard to teach the youngster the whaling profession. His son's repeated failures at living up to his expectations became a source of discontent for Binks. The loss of the love of his life and his seemingly incompetent son caused him to grow violent and angry, culminating in an unsuccessful attempt at killing himself. He was an Otola Gungan male with light brown skin. This story was a comic story from 2004. Not what I would have expected from Jar Jar's dad. Okay, so Sheebla was a Gungan warrior woman who was the true love of George R. Binks. Unfortunately, she was infertile, so he forced himself to marry another woman as an heir was more important to him than love. After living with his only child for some time, however, George decided that he had made the wrong choice. That's all the information we have on Sheebla. So the company that George ran was the Binks and Son Whaling Company. It was a Gungan whaling company operated, out of Otogunga. It lasted for centuries but came to its end with the last owner being George R. Binks. And nothing else about it. Just realized that George R. Binks was apparently the creator's name is Tony Millionaire. Is that a real name? Apparently. He wrote George R. Binks, Hoth, Star Wars Tales 50, Star Wars Tales 20. It seemed, I guess, all of the like a bunch of wikis link to each other because now it's just giving me a bunch of links for Naruto characters. So are you supposed to pronounce Boruto as Boruto, or is it Bolt? Like, how are you supposed to say that? I'm just looking at it on the entry, looking at his name. The Romanji of his name is Uzumaki Boruto, and then the English translation is Boruto Uzumaki. It doesn't really help me. It doesn't really help me. I just want to know how are you supposed to say his name? Like, can it really just be Boruto? Apparently, unlike Naruto, Boruto doesn't yell what he feels, which is the biggest difference between them. Despite his laid-back attitude, he's actually very, very studious. Conversely, Boruto's upbringing has also been different than that of his father's. Boruto's family is always there for him. Boruto also has many friends, and his acquisitions came easily and naturally to him from a combination of prodigious talents and nurturing parents. For these reasons, Boruto has a high opinion of himself and freely brags about his abilities. His cocky nature, however, has made him put no value on teammates or teamwork, believing he can do anything on his own. He believed in achieving success as the main point of anything, even taking insincere shortcuts to do so. One example is utilizing a cheat program to easily win a video game? Boruto is a filthy cheater? He cheats at Call of Duty? Is that what I'm reading here? Naruto, you need to do something about your son. Another is using the kote to create a facade of performing advanced techniques to earn his right to be Sasuke's disciple, and later swiftly resorting to the same device to defeat opponents while they have a upper hand. Does not look down on anyone else, though. Is very loyal to his friends. Although Boruto loves his father, Naruto, and is overjoyed when they spend time together, their relationship has been strained ever since Naruto became the 7th Hokage. This is mainly because of the job's many responsibilities that prevent Naruto from being around all the time. It has led Boruto to feel neglected and becoming resentful towards the Hokage title, only seeing it as a position that takes his father away from him and declaring it, aware that Naruto also grew up as an orphan, it was only fit for those with no loved ones. Eventually, after Boruto was exposed to the complications of his father's life, he finally understands and forgives his father's busy schedule and stops trying to take the easy options in life. Has Boruto ever seen his father do that move where he turns into a naked woman to make his enemies horny? What does Boruto think of that? What does he think of that particular move? Does Naruto still do that? Like, he did it as a kid. I don't know if he still does that as an adult. Like, when he became an adult, did he stop doing that, or does he still do that one? Boruto apparently likes burgers. He would rush to get a limited edition green chili hamburger on the last day it would be sold. Sometimes he would carry burger discount coupons. His favorite dish is a yakisoba bun. He enjoys drawing, but is bad at it. That's what it says here. He's oblivious to his poor skill for drawing. Oh, hold on. Boruto mastered the shadow clone technique before entering the academy, able to coordinate his attacks with his shadow clones and use them for maneuvers of Chunin, if not Jonin, level. From training with Sasuke, he has become skilled in shuriken jutsu, able to change a weapon's trajectory mid-flight and coat his shuriken in lightning release. He has also learned his father's various sexy techniques. Okay, his dad still does that, and his son has learned them from him. Gotta make the enemies horny. It's their weakness. As an adult, he was seen wielding a sword in battle, indicating that he has skill in kenjutsu. At Sasuke's insistence, Boruto learns how to perform the Rasengan from Konohamaru Sarutobi after extensive practice, initially doing so with both his hands. Boruto can perform the nature transformations of wind, lightning, and water release. With these transformations, he uses techniques including lightning release, purple electricity, water release, splash bullet, and wind release, gale palm. His skill at nature transformation is apparent, able to effectively use two elements simultaneously, forcing even his father to rely on a protective wall to handle the assault. While initially creating the Rasengan, he subconsciously applied lightning nature chakra to it, making it his greatest technique, and a feat no other user could accomplish through standard ninjutsu. Upon throwing the technique, the nature transformation abruptly activates, turning it invisible, and tricks the opponent into letting their guard down as sufficient damage is inflicted when it makes contact. Though Boruto's Rasengan is initially small, soon after, he demonstrated the ability to create a normal-sized one. Oh, well, at the age of 8, Boruto subconsciously awakened a dojutsu in his right eye. You got to get that checked out. Don't want to let that go too long. Which is featureless in appearance. While originally only able to instinctively activate it in times of threats, several years later, he was capable of activating it at will, along with black markings across his right arm and face. Boruto was able to communicate with Momoshiki Asutsuki's dying spirit. As Momoshiki explained, it was because he possessed the blood of a Byakugan wielder. It grants him the ability to detect such things such as chakra, which is generally unseen by the normal eye. The dojutsu can perceive the flow of chakra, enabling Boruto to see the visible changes in one's chakra, and likewise track a target through its chakra. It can also determine the key point of the chakra pathway system and see through invisible barriers that connect between dimensions. The history section does go into quite a lot of detail about the minutiae of Boruto's life. Just as I've been scrolling through this entry of Boruto's history, and just a line that caught my eye. Several months later, during a mission to catch a rampaging bear, Konohamaru tested a recent invention of Konoha's scientific ninja weapons team, the Kote. Something about that line, the scientific ninja weapons team. Naruto has a prosthetic hand. It just came up during this history section. What happened to his hand? Did he do a Rasengan that was so powerful that it destroyed his hand? There's a page here about the 10 most popular Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloons for 2021. I didn't actually see the parade. What did they have? Let's see. Number 10, Heinz Gravy Pirates. Number 9, Tom Turkey. Number 8, Mickey Mouse. Number 7, SpongeBob SquarePants. Number 6, Ada Twist Scientist. Number 5, Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 4, Snoopy. Number 3, Grogu, Baby Yoda. Number 2, Pikachu. Number 1, Ronald McDonald. That's all there is to this list. It's just a top 10 list. Just a top 10 list. I don't know how they're determining the popularity of... I don't know. It doesn't say what its methodology is or anything. It doesn't... I don't know how they're determining this. I need some sort of logic as to how they're determining the popularity of these balloons for the list to have any kind of meaning. Let's see. There's an article here about what would the members of the Fellowship of the Ring bring to Thanksgiving dinner. I want to know that. I'm very curious about that. Let's imagine that we're having the Fellowship over for our Thanksgiving meal, and they are all preparing a dish. What do they bring, and why? Let's dig in. Frodo stuffing. Bready herby, often incorporated with some sausage and various veggies. I've just described both hobbits and stuffing. Any hobbit is going to take their food assignment seriously, and Frodo will give this underrated dish the respect it deserves, and our table will be better because of it. He's thoughtful, respectful, smart, and clever, and you won't believe him when he tells you that he puts standard ingredients in the stuffing, because its flavor will be anything but standard. All right, so Frodo brings the stuffing. Sam, mashed potatoes. Listen, I get it. We all get it. Everyone knows about it, so we shouldn't need to say it. But for those who may not, potatoes. Yes. Even if it were just up to the meme, this would be the obvious assignment and the lowest hanging fruit. But consider the reason for the iconic line in the first place. Samwise talks about potatoes that way, not just because he loves them, he's also mastered them in the BDSM sense. It doesn't say that. I'm adding that. The Gamgees are famous for their rooted vegetables in general, but potatoes stand above the rest. While he may be simple, Sam knows what he knows, and he knows potatoes. These will be contender for the favorite dish. Merry, pumpkin pie. As the older and more responsible half of the fun-loving, troublemaking duo of Merry and Pippin, Merry gets the pumpkin pie. On the one hand, he's probably got a strong sweet tooth, so he'll hold himself to a high standard. On the other hand, he's an expert raider of Farmer Maggot's crops, so he'll know where the best pumpkins are kept and under which conditions the best ones are grown. Also, pies can be finicky, so this is best left in the hands of someone who won't crack under pressure. Pippin, yams. While Pippin shares a sweet tooth with Merry, he lacks Merry's maturity and poise. Because of this, Pippin is going to take care of the yams. It's not that he's not capable, it's just that sometimes he gets in his own way. Yams are hardy, tough to mess up, and since Pippin's also familiar with Maggot's crops, he'll be able to secure the best of the best. You know that he'll be heavy-handed with the marshmallows and the brown sugar, greatly obscuring the line between side and dessert. Aragorn, of course, brings the turkey. Who else could we trust with the main dish? None other than King Elisar himself. Under his roguish exterior, Aragorn carries a lifetime of culinary expertise. He's lived in Rivendell, Lothlorien, Gondor, Rohan, and all of the wilds in between. So he's picked up a few tricks. As the greatest hunter of his era, he knows where the largest and most delectable turkeys dwell. He'll harvest it cleanly and humanely, and use his combined knowledge from the kingdoms of men and elves to make a dish that is nigh unto perfection. This will stand against Sam's potatoes for the favorite. Boromir, cranberry sauce. Bless his heart, but Boromir probably isn't interested in making the best dish or having an amazing gastronomic experience. We're going to give him something simple, because he can't be bothered to spend more than 20 minutes on prep. To him, food is fuel, especially on Thanksgiving. The Fellowship is playing a football game afterward, and Boromir is convinced that he only needs himself as quarterback and Gimli as running back to beat the rest of the group, and he's probably right. Don't be surprised if he just plunks down a can of Ocean Spray jellied cranberry sauce and runs out back to play catch with Merry and Pippin. Legolas. Salad. If anyone in the Fellowship is going to know their way around some leafy greens, it's Legolas Greenleaf, Prince of the Woodland Realm. In fact, Legolas will likely end up bringing 3 different salads, each made of ingredients that he sang to every day during their planting and growing season, and which willingly harvested, the plants willingly harvested themselves at his request. He will have made each dressing and vinaigrette from scratch, and will impress everyone when he reveals that the wine he brought to pair them with is 2,000 years old. That is impressive. Gimli. Ham. For this dwarf, only one meat at a feast of celebration would have meant tragedy. He'll prepare a ham larger than Pippin that he smoked for 48 hours over the bellows he built specifically for this dish. Every element will be calculated and precise, with 5 different thermometers placed strategically to ensure an even heat. He'll collect the smoking wood from a specific grove that's a 4-day hike away, and the glaze will be measured down to the milligram. Gimli's ham is our 3rd contender for our favorite. Gandalf. Rolls. More than anyone else in the Fellowship, Gandalf knows that simple things can have a large impact. It doesn't get more simple than bread. He's had centuries to refine his process, and like his fireworks, Gandalf's rolls will have gotten better with age. He already specializes in fire and flame craft, so we know they won't ever be overcooked. Nor will they be undercooked. They'll come out of the oven precisely as he means them to. And if he happens to mutter some incantation over the yeast or flour as he makes them, we'll just count ourselves lucky. Next to Aragorn and Gimli's meat and Sam's potatoes, these will earn a place in the favorite conversation. That's part of what you could expect from Thanksgiving with the Fellowship. You could also expect the day to be full of song, mirth, games, and stories. Sam would be embarrassed to be included in the favorite dish conversation, and Merry and Pippin would be indignant at their exclusion. When the time came to go around the table to express gratitude, Gimli's answer would be straightforward. Boromir's answer would be honest and heartfelt, and Gandalf would say one vague thing that hinted at a different, even more vague thing. And this article, very important news article, written by Elijah Webb, writer, podcaster, collector, 2-time Carnival Cruise trivia winner. Like, you know, sometimes you got to write an article. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it's about. You got to write that article. Come on, Elijah, where is it? Thanksgiving. What would like characters from a movie bring to Thanksgiving? What movie? What Marvel characters would bring? What Star Wars Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings. Well, what members of the Fellowship would bring the Lord of the Ring? Would bring the Thanksgiving? Type. Gotta get your article done. Now I'm kind of wondering what kind of food would various Boruto characters bring to Thanksgiving? I mean, we won't know. We'll never know until someone writes that article. Like, I'll forever be wondering, what would Sasuke bring to Thanksgiving? And I won't know! I'll have to go to sleep tonight not knowing. An article here about the new Resident Evil movie. It was written November 22nd, which I'm guessing is before there was a general opinion about that movie, which apparently is pretty poor. Seems like people don't seem to like it. Because it starts off with saying Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City strives to be the film fans of the popular video game series have always wanted, a faithful adaptation of the source material depicting characters and scenarios they know and love. Doesn't seem like that's not really the opinion I've heard when people have mentioned this. The love of the games is palpable throughout the film, incorporating details from both the original and remade versions of Resident Evils 1 and 2. Lisa Trevor, the Raccoon City Orphanage, Jill Sandwich. There's even what may or may not be a nod to S.D. Perry's novelization of Resident Evil 2, wherein the reason 21-year-old rookie cop Leon Kennedy arrives late to his first shift on the Raccoon City Police Department is because he partied too hard the night before. Big mistake, buddy. I have not watched this movie as of yet, but it seems like any opinions I've seen people give about this is that they are very disappointed. And this article's long. Just scrolling through the article to see if I could find what the reference to the Jill sandwich was. I don't see it in the... I guess it doesn't mention what it is exactly. Just kind of wondering how they might have fit that into the dialogue. So, Star Wars Visions, it looks like it's episode 8. That's the one with Lop.
Everything this planet has to offer. However, Imperial industry
Episodes are not long. Like, this is only like 20 minutes.
environment. Rich in nature and tradition, the people who in turn plan to
What's the matter?
They just... Ocho just freed Lop from her manacles.
With a little time, we're going. Imperial base!
It is the Empire who put...
Without the help of the Empire, whether there's war or no war. How are feelings supposed to save our family?
I've been... an end to this bloodshed.
Risk plans.
Hundreds of are not bound by blood. You and I share a strong connection to your heart. But I'm glad you're...
So the father's giving Lop the lightsaber.
That treasured saber of yours is all that matters. Now, stay here. That is in trouble. I am your father!
I'm sorry, but you don't understand.
It's like now the daughter and the father are fighting.
And I'll do what I must to protect our home.
Lope, you have to do it. You...
So now Lop has to fight Ocho.
Are you talking about? You know I can't turn back now.
She can't turn back now.
has nothing to do with blood. There is so much that matters more.
Why don't we go home with the three of us together? We can rebuild this family.
Right, and Lop wants to reunite the family.
I'll bring you back. My real sister.
Oh man, this is getting real Naruto right now.
Little time.
Right, so like then Lop said, "No, I will reunite this family, sister. I will bring you back by defeating you in lightsaber combat." But it did not work that way. I can't believe that Ocho would turn her back on her family like that. Will Lop ever be able to get Ocho to come back? I don't know if we'll ever find out. Well, now that we feel so much more educated in the ways of Star Wars and Naruto, I guess I'll say goodnight. Um, I guess we'll try Sakura Wars Wednesday, and we'll see how that goes. But I just got too much into Star Wars, and had to know about Jar Jar's dad, who was gonna kill himself because it was preferable than being with Jar Jar. That's harsh. It's very harsh. Oh wow, on Disney Plus is the new Home Alone movie. Home Sweet Home Alone. That's like, it's like the fact that it's on this service, you should be giving me a discount, Disney. The new what? The new Home Alone movie. There's a new Home Alone movie. Home Sweet Home Alone. Why? I don't know if anyone knows the answer to that. I don't know if anyone knows. There's a new Turner and Hooch? I guess there's not impossible that could be okay. New isn't released this year. Yes. Well, I hope everyone has a good night. Like I said, I'll see you on Wednesday. We'll probably try out Sakura Wars. Probably just do that on Wednesday. So have a good night.